Hello guys, it's Hoff here on the ShadowsReign A1A YouTube channel, and today we are going to be talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. What's my first impressions on it? Is it bringing me back to YouTube on the full-time basis? I mean, I have been streaming in that and I haven't left it, but you know, is it going to be back to the usual upload program? Yes, it is. But does that mean that there isn't any problems? No. And let's talk about everything there is to know about multiplayer and what it means for the future of the channel, the future of Call of Duty, and potentially the future of Warzone. So let's just get right into it. What are my actual first impressions of this game? My actual first impressions of this game is that, when I first started playing it, is that the maps need getting used to. Now, I didn't play the beta because I was in Tenerife. I know, selfish having a holiday, right? And I didn't know what to expect, so I was actually coming into this for the first time. Now, I found that the gunplay was generally really good, like borderline excellent, and I really enjoyed it, although the M4 is a bit rubbish. Well, the base one is anyway. I really enjoyed the guns, and that's a good place to start. If the guns feel well and they hit clean, then you know you got a good Call of Duty in your hands. Typically, it runs well on my computer. I can't speak for consoles. But on my computer, when it runs absolutely fine. The frame rate's at a solid 100, and I can't really complain. That doesn't mean, however, that there isn't system issues that need to be addressed. For one, it doesn't like you having friends. Now, when you don't have friends, that's fine. But most people play with at least one person or party up with at least one person, usually. And yeah, it just doesn't like it. So when you go into the game, you need to essentially be in the lobby, pick your game. It then loads this little, well, it loads like a bit of an animation thing where all your characters in the background and that can be laggy and that can crash people out, I've noticed, but only when you're with friends. And then sometimes it just stays on connecting forever and you don't actually start searching for a game. This is this is more prolific with crossplay. So if you're playing with anyone on a different platform, we'll do this a bit more often. I've found the fix for this, however, is to quickly just load up the ground war lobby, then come back out of it, go back into your quick play, and that usually does the trick. Failing that, just restart. And the game does like to randomly crash as well, which is not ideal, but that's the day we live in, isn't it? So yeah, I'm sure that'll get patched out with bugs, you know, increased system stability and performance. We've seen it before, and I have no doubt we're going to see a bunch of them again. Now, let's just also discuss the gunsmith, because like I say, if you've got good weapons and the game feels good, odds are it's going to play good, and this game is no exception to that. Gunsmith is excellent. I think it is an actual improvement on the Modern Warfare 2 one, and the main problem with not the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2019, the main reason for that is that it doesn't take you a year to upgrade one weapon all the way up. Having like 60 attachments for one weapon, and the main good ones are like at rank 50 plus, it's a bit tedious. Well, it's very tedious. So this is only usually between 16 and 25, 30 levels per weapon. And then obviously you can then upgrade the receiver, or so upgrade, I say change, because it's not always an upgrade. You can change the receiver and then unlock weapons for all of those weapons that take the same receiver, as well as some other weapons in the same weapon type, which will also be really good. So for example, the EBR, there's some attachments on there that can only be unlocked by sorting out the SPR, which is like that marksman sniper rifle. You may remember it from the first Modern Warfare, the DLC weapon. Yeah, and it's I think it's a really good way of doing it. It means when new guns come out and it's part of a different receiver or something like that, odds are you're probably going to have some attachments for it already, which is a really good start. Another thing to mention as well is that the store is only just like one item in it at the minute, and I think that's really good because they've put all the effort into getting the game out right rather than just developing that. If we had a full store when we launched and we have all these system issues, I would be giving a very different opinion of this game straight out the bat. So yeah, one thing I would say though about the weapons in the gunsmith is that there's a lot of attachment pollution. Now you know what that is. Hundreds of attachments. Well, I say hundreds. About, you know, like 30 sights. You got loads and loads of muzzle attachments. Barrels isn't as many, but just so many attachments for certain parts of the weapon. Oh my word, it's just it can be overwhelming, and trying to figure out what does what and if it actually has an effect is problematic. Unless, however, you're able to test them out before you into a game. And that's what you can do. There's a firing range. Firing range returns, and I think it's a really, really, really good addition. Although the damage on the dummies that they bring up isn't the same damage in-game. So that's a little bit strange. Like the armored up opponents as opposed to just multiplayer opponents. And I would like to see an option to put on just normal health opponents in there, so I can actually get a feel of how much damage my gun's doing at what range. So for example, in EBR, that is a one-tap headshot at any range I've found. It's actually an upgrade on the one in Modern Warfare 2019, but we'll talk about that in another video. And at 1 taps all the time at the head, 2 taps all the time at the body, at least on the base receiver. Whereas in the firing range, it can take 2, 3 shots even when you're hitting the head. So would like a bit more consistency on that one. But that's fine. We can live with that. Teething pains in it. And yeah, mainstream mods are now going to be a thing. The amount... When I played Modern Warfare 2019, I saw no one, and I mean no one, use SOCOMs in multiplayer. Never saw it. The only time I'd see it is when people were sick of me killing them, and they would pick up my gun to find out what I was actually killing them with. So if I ever saw a kill cam with a SOCOM, it was always my SOCOMs I had been killed with. No one went and picked that class. So now I'm seeing it all the time. People are using SOCOMs left, right, and center, which is really strange. But that's what having these mainstream mods does. It doesn't take an attachment off you for going SOCOM. So you can have a SOCOM and then the 5 attachments, which I think's amazing. Like in Modern Warfare, you couldn't do that. The SOCOM would be an attachment, and you can get 15 rounds as well. Ah, love it. And it's actually quite lethal in semi-automatic mode as well, which is just something for you guys to bear in mind. Thank me later. So yeah, that's what I kind of think about the gunsmith. Now let's talk about the maps. They're frustrating until you're sharp, and by that I mean until like you're map sharp. When you're used to playing the game, that's when it take a bit getting used to. Once you know where all the angles are and where all the choke points are and where people tend to be hanging, you find out, you figure out which windows people tend to be hanging out of, you're okay. But till you get to that point, can be a bit of a struggle. So if you're watching this video thinking about buying the game, just bear that in mind. You're not going to enjoy probably the first couple of hours of your multiplayer run until you get used to the maps. And then when you do get used to the maps, they're alright, to be fair. Just when you learn how to play them, just like any other COD really. I would say that they're generally good. Not excellent, but generally good. With one exception, and it's not the excellent exception. That motorway map is garbage. I'm sure you've seen memes about it already. It's just literally one lane, tries to be 3, but fails pitifully, with a square block at either side, and it is awful. Actually, and I played Call of Duty Ghosts, and so I can say this, and I played Piccadilly. This map right here is, well, not this one you're watching, but this map I'm talking about is the worst map in Call of Duty history. I'm going to say it right now. I've played all the Call of Duty's Advanced Warfare, Ghosts, the games that you guys probably didn't play. It's the worst. Just outright the worst. I've got nothing more to say about that. But the rest of them, good, not excellent. So, after all this being said, does this mean that I'm coming back to the YouTube game full time? I mean, I kind of already am full time, just you don't see it behind the scenes, as I'm doing a lot of work to make sure I can actually invest in some lights to bring back the podcast and maybe another show after that. So I have actually been working on the channel, it's just not been in the form of making videos. But these lights are really expensive. But, by the by, yes, it means that there's going to be more frequent videos on the channel, as well as me doing everything that I'm doing behind the scenes. So that's really exciting. Can't wait to be back. But to be fair, we've always said that we were going to be back after this anyway. Like, when we figured out the Vanguard was a bit dull and we got past February, March, we're like, right, okay, cool, well, let's just wait for the next one. Because Warzone was rubbish, Caldera was awful, and just been waiting for the new Call of Duty, and this is what we've been waiting for about 6 months, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for getting us by, but we're finally back, and we're going to get into a really good rhythm again, as you guys would do diligently expect. But yes, let's get right onto it, and thank you guys for watching till the end. And yeah, let's get on it. Let's kill some hoes.